Okay. Hi, so today's lesson we're going to be doing some maths, and more specifically we're going to be looking at simultaneous equations. Now, simultaneous equations is a form of algebra, and they're really important when we have more than one unknown value. So in this case we've got x, which we don't know, and we've also got y, which we don't know. And simultaneous equations often involve multiple unknowns and multiple equations. And very often, if not always, when you've got the number of unknowns equal to the number of equations which you must have. So in this case, we've got x and we've got y, so two unknowns, and therefore we've got two equations. And therefore we should be able to solve x and y. So for today's lesson, I thought first we'd talk a little bit more about sort of algebra generally, and then we'll start looking at how to solve this example question. And hopefully simultaneous equations will be nice and clear. So back to sort of discussing the algebra side of things. When you've got an unknown, it's really important that you are able to put the like terms together and put the constant terms together. So in this case, you want to separate x, separate the y in order to solve them. So if we look at the first equation, we've got x minus 3y is equal to minus 23. Now what I mean by separating the terms is that we want to make maybe x in this case on its own. So we want to separate that. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so it's plus 3y. So all we did is we added 3y to both sides to leave x alone on one side. So just to make this look nicer, we're just going to say 3y minus 23, like so. So that's our equation that we've got. Now we can look at the second equation, which is 5x plus 2y equals 4. Now, we don't know what x is, we don't know what y is, but we do know what x is in terms of y. So what we can do is we can replace x with this new expression that we just made. So 3y minus 23 plus 2y equals 4, like so. So now we've got all our terms, we've got everything in terms of y. So it should be quite straightforward to solve. Now, before we go into solving this, I just want to remind you of a really important concept, which is BIDMAS. Now, BIDMAS is really helpful when we're thinking about the order of things, the order of operations. So the first one, B, stands for brackets. So it's really important we multiply out and expand all the brackets first. I is for indices, so indices being like powers, so for example 2 to the power x, or 2 to the power 4, anything 3 to the power 12, these are all indices. D is division, M is multiplication, A is addition, and S is subtraction. So in this case, B, brackets, we do have brackets, so we should expand this first. So the way to do this is first you do 5 times 3, so we've got 15y, and then 5 times minus 23. Remember, we can't forget about this minus, so that's minus 115. And then remember to add on the 2y that we had from before, and that's equal to 4. And now again, we can put our like terms together, so 15y and 2y we can add, so 17y. So that's minus 115 equals to 4, and we can bring the we can add 115 to both sides to get 119. And from that we can work out y is 119 divided by 17, which I have to check with the calculator, is 7. So y equals 7. Now, a common mistake which people often make is that they will forget to work out the other unknown. So although we've worked out y, we haven't worked out x. Now this is really simple. All we have to do is we need to substitute the value of y into this expression, solve that, and you should be able to get x. So x is equal to 3, we can put 7 in brackets like this, minus 23, and x equals 21 minus 23, so x is equal to minus 2, like that. So there we've solved how to do simultaneous equations. What's really good to do at the end of the question is you can check your answer. So the way you can check it is you can substitute one of the values into the equation which you didn't substitute it before. So for example, I'm going to put minus 2 here and 7 here and see if we get 4. So if you can check, we can say 5 minus 2 plus 2, 7, and that's minus 10 plus 14, and yeah, that equals 4. Therefore, we know our answer is correct, and you can move on to the next question in your exam. So that was sort of the basics of simultaneous equations. You can get harder ones where you might have quadratic equations, or you might have 3 or 4 maybe unknowns, and you would have multiple equations then. But this is sort of the one which you're most likely to come across in a GCSE paper. So yeah, any questions, let me know.